not to be so vocal about it, and all that. But really, it's. I have so many thoughts, so many things that brought me about this Nigeria issue. I think the blasphemy laws are just ridiculous.
Yeah, finally, I just want to ask your opinion on this,
Okay.
your insight on it. A particular pastor did say last week that, those pastors in Nigeria who haven't reopened and who are still in lockdown, they are not believers. I mean, what do you think of such a sweeping statement?
that's okay. Let me not use those kind of words. Um, I don't think that's fair, and I don't think that is well thought out because they are not believers. How and why? Because they don't believe that God will protect their people from COVID, right? So the people that have been falling sick is all these days because God did not protect them, or I don't understand if the person's problem with pastors not opening is because they somehow have abdicated the responsibility of the local church to gather people together and to take care of them, right? If that is what the person is contending with, that those pastors don't believe that people need to meet and they don't see this corona period as something that is temporary, I think that is a legitimate legitimate issue um, that's a legitimate objection. But saying that the fact that people are taking precautions not to open up shows that their lack of faith that's just ridiculous. There are so many other precautions that believers take every day in their daily lives that even that critic has been taking in their daily lives. Are they taking those precautions because they don't have faith in God? I don't think that is a well thought out criticism for people not opening up. Coronavirus, no matter how you look at it, has killed a lot of people, and my only objection with the coronavirus period and the hysteria is that it has not been well handled by many governments. It has been too much politicized and all that. That's the only objection I have to the coronavirus pandemic saga. Based on but the disease itself has actually killed people. Of course, we need to take precautions.
Yeah.
Of course, we needed to make sure that we reduce the rate at which people fell sick, even if there was not going to be a cure or it was inevitable that everybody will contact at the end of the day. At best, at the very least, we should have targeted flattening the curve, reducing the rate at which people get it, so that our health facilities don't crumble at the same time. At the very least.
Yeah.
So I don't think it is legitimate to somehow criticize people for taking precautions. I don't think that is sensible. I don't think that's right. So I don't agree with that.
I mean, I see it as people, in a sense, just wanted to be over serious. As you said, again, with the management itself, I don't blame any government because, one, prior to the disease, there was no COVID-19 experts. I mean, even when people said, listen to the experts, science and all that, I get it, but no one had ever encountered it or studied it. I mean,
Yep.
and so it was obvious that there were going to be mistakes, but the problem is now politicizing it. I mean, the
Yep.
opposition in every country wants to use it as, I mean, it's
Yep.
politics.
Yep.
He mismanaged it, we would have done better. I mean, I don't really think so. And so it's just probably a time for people to come together, irrespective of political affiliations, and say, okay, this is a disease that, can take anyone from any particular party. And so let's come together and deal with it. But again, people are always divided on everything. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
when this now comes into the church, and I personally have my own opinion about the whole lockdown and how church should be. I have my own opinion and all that, but I would never fault any particular church for not reopening and say, hey, you guys are not believers for not reopening. I think that is,
So,
in a
what are your
sense.
opinions? You can just tell me quickly.
I mean, when it comes to the lockdown, I felt at an initial, when we did understand that, okay, maybe it was affecting more of the elderly in terms of killing, I mean, the rate of death. I kind of feel economically and all that, probably they should have been in lockdown where the younger and healthy people who didn't have, as we were told, underlying industry should continue working to keep the economy going. I felt that for me, that's
I
how
agree.
I could
That's
have
exactly
approached it.
that's exactly one of my biggest issues with the handling
Yeah,
of the lockdown. And
yeah,
the one that really annoyed me the most was the way Nigeria just did copy and paste and just did a very stupid lockdown.
exactly.
Poverty capital of the world with a majority young population. it was just, the handling was just ridiculous.
I
It
mean,
was just,
Western nations have, in a sense, the economical capacity for a particular time to sustain their
yes,
people, but Nigeria doesn't have that.
yes. Now it was very ridiculous. It was like bureaucrats watching CNN and deciding what they would do based on what they saw on CNN. That's all. The whole COVID policy was informed by some politicians somewhere watching CNN. That was all. No thinking, no introspection, no people sitting down to think about their own context, their own situation, our country, what kind of country do we have, and what can we do, and what do we. It's because there's no vision, right? There's no plan. That was my criticism of the handling of COVID. I think it was hysterical and wrong.
Yeah. Last week I spoke with one politician, and he told me that one of the problems we have in Nigeria is copy and paste politics. So we want to copy democracy as it were in foreign countries and just replicate it exactly and believe it's going to work. And so it's the same thing that happened with this COVID. And I think when we don't ask ourselves, okay, we are a different society. Okay, we can borrow certain ideas from them, but is this going to work for us? If it's not going to work for us, we have to discard it and be practical in a sense. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. It was a good time. It was actually fun. I think we should do this more.